Welcome. Good Friday morning to everyone watching on our Gather at the River here. Good to have you with us this morning, and been a great week, and we are looking forward to a wonderful month. We are in the month of June, believe it or not, almost halfway through the year already. It will not be too long because normally summers go fast.
Yes, sir, it will.
But I don't know, with as crazy as things are right now, normally kids, we've already had the graduations usually by now.
Right.
But kids are usually thinking about school first week of August or something like
Well,
that.
I think our start date back for us is August 12th, which is a touch later than what we have done in the past. So yeah, that second week of August. But I'm not going to let this broadcast get too far down the line without saying happy anniversary
Yeah, thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you.
Right
Thank
here
you.
on taping day,
Yeah.
June the 3rd,
Yeah.
42 years. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
to
Thank you. Yeah, for those who, we're kind of like the magician here. We're letting you get behind the curtain and see what's going on here. We are filming this week on Wednesday morning. So I said, welcome to Friday morning. I was thinking ahead.
That's right.
But yeah, we are filming this on Wednesday. Couple reasons we got to do that, and you'll be seeing it on Friday. And if there's something that we do not like about today's broadcast, it will be edited out by Friday, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we have time to do that. But thanks. Yeah, 42 years has went fast.
Congratulations.
Absolutely
to you.
fast. We were talking, yesterday, Cindy and I were talking, and she was, every hour of the day she says, I was doing this
Right.
42 years ago, doing this. And so all I know is after we had a rehearsal dinner, we got married in Youngstown, Ohio, and about 45 minutes away was where Cindy and I went to college in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, Geneva College. My basketball coach, Jim Christopher, he was in my wedding party, and my brother and
that's
basketball
great.
players. So I don't know what Cindy and the bridesmaids did that night, but all of us guys drove over to Geneva College. Coach opened up the field house.
Played ball.
We played ball, man. We had
That's
a
it.
great time. And afterwards, Cindy was always, well, what if you would have got hurt or got an elbow or something? Because one of the guys that night, Mike Thorson, caught an elbow in his nose. He was all swollen up the next day. But that's what we did.
Yeah.
Got married the next day and headed to Williamsburg, Virginia.
Well, that's great. I've had ball players ask me if for their bachelor party, if I would open the gym up, guys that I was performing the ceremony for. Hey, Coach, could you open the gym up for me? Could you open the gym up for me? And I will say that Kathy and I have sat in the gym and watched them, so there was some supervision. They were younger
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
But
Yeah, we
they
just had
enjoy
when I was ordained here, the pastor from my hometown, John Rule, came that night, and it was wonderful. Hadn't seen him in ages, really. And but he's from West Virginia. I thought he was a Jerry West type ball player.
Yeah,
And so, boy, he couldn't wait till we opened the gym up that night.
that's right.
And he found out in about the first 2 or 3 minutes that he was a small fish in a big pond. We had a good time smacking him around. But
That's great.
but we're having a great time. Good to have you with us today. I know people enjoy watching this. Tell them about Sunday school this coming Sunday.
Well, Sunday school will start this Sunday, and the way we're going to start that back, I think, is a fantastic reintroduction of that ministry. So at 10 o'clock, all of the classes from adult classes, teenagers and down, will be in their own normal Sunday school classroom. We've got some social distancing measures that we've got in place there, and our teachers will be wiping things, taking care of all that. Main thing they'll be doing is teaching the scripture from teenagers and down in their classrooms. Then the adult classes are going to meet in here. And you'll be teaching this
You teaching
week,
Sunday? Yeah.
and I'll be teaching on the 14th. Bill Davis and Benny Clark will help us finish out the month of June. So June starts back Sunday school in here for adults. Everyone else in their regular classes at 10 o'clock. And then in July, we actually hope,
Yep.
assuming things continue to loosen up as they have in July, we hope to have everybody back in their normal Sunday school class going forward.
Yep.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll be the case. I think there's been so much change in the last 2 weeks
Right.
regarding the social distancing and
Yes.
everything else, and a lot of it has been predicated on these crazy riots we're seeing. I saw a picture
Just a
yesterday
mess.
of all these people in New York laying on the asphalt. I don't know how many hundreds are out there.
Right.
And I thought, where's de Blasio? He had threatened people on Memorial Day, if he catches anyone at the beach or in the water, he'll have the police drag them out.
Drag 'em out.
You had hundreds of people laying there shoulder to shoulder. Where's the social distancing on that? So I think a lot of that mindset is probably going to be behind us as we get through June. But if things change and it may be better to do that for another month, we'll do that. We'll let you know. We'll keep you informed. However, our elementary children, for the evening, we've decided to move our Thrive program to July. Just from the standpoint, it's hard to keep young children separated. They like to play and run around, and that's part of their time and all of that, and we know that. And we want them to enjoy that when they get together. Plus, in June, we've got a Sunday, we're not having Sunday evening service, Father's Day.
Father's Day.
On the 21st. In fact, every father's going to be here. We've already ordered. We will have a gift.
As long as it's better than the Mother's Day gift, that'll be fine.
I don't know. I don't think I struck out on that one, but Cindy does a much better job picking that stuff out than I do. But so anyways, the Thrive, our evening program for Thrive, will begin in July. But our teens are always in here anyways on our evening service. So
Let me share this about the teens. Hadn't had a chance to even talk to you about this. We've got the camp out
Yeah.
type. It's farmhouse, let's call it that, because there's nobody going to be in a tent. But the farmhouse, July 8th to 11th, we've got the boats all rented for them on Green River, Holmes Bend Marina there. But we got word yesterday that Mammoth Cave is reopened.
oh, great.
Opened on the 1st of June, and Austin made a contact there yesterday. They have reopened. So Thursday, the students will go to the Green River, and on Friday, they'll get to go to Mammoth Cave, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world.
That is
So
fantastic.
that's going to be a good,
Oh,
good
they're going
week.
to have a
Looking
riot.
forward to
They're
that.
going to love that. Oh, they're going to love that. And Vacation Bible School, we sent a note out on that. It was scheduled to start June 15th. Well, we've really canceled that. Again, we're still finding church right down the road from us is still closed.
Right.
I'm not sure how
A lot
many.
of churches are
A lot of churches are still closed. So I think it's just way too soon to start planning a Vacation Bible School now.
It is.
Start on the 15th. Number one, we need a lot of our own workers
Right.
for that. But to expect parents are going to want to bring their kids in here,
Just not going to be comfortable
yeah, not
doing
going to
that.
happen. So we've had to postpone that. But we're going to try to do something special for our own kids here in the summer. I know Holly and Joy are planning on that, so we'll do some things. What do you have birthday-wise?
Well, we've got a couple of birthdays this week. Jim Medley's birthday is actually right on today, Friday.
Look for the smoke
Friday
coming
the
off of that
5th.
cake, huh?
That's it. That's it. But Brother Jim's birthday, and then Rick Helms is on June the 8th.
Oh, good.
So 2 birthdays this week within our church family.
Great, great, great. Jim Medley was bemoaning this morning. He's looking to play some golf. In fact, we're going to be gone next week on a little trip, and Jim and Nancy are going to come over there with us. So Jim and
great.
I are going to get to play some golf together. Well, he was complaining that his driving range is shut down. I didn't know that.
Wow.
So he's going to be in trouble next week.
I tell you, the golf course, we live in this community that has a golf course, and it is packed all the time. I actually went down to the clubhouse yesterday, just really hanging out for a little bit. And I like to it's got a big deck there. I like to sit on that deck and porch watch people play and just study, read different things. So I was out there yesterday. The place was packed.
Yeah, it's just amazing. But that's good. Glad that there's some businesses doing
That's
well.
right.
And
That's
people have
right.
the money to play golf. So, happy birthday to all of those, and Again, happy anniversary. Austin and Allie, their anniversary today, June 3rd, too. But 3 years, right?
It is, yes. 3 years, and Noah's birthday he 1 year old now.
Yeah.
They had celebrated that last weekend, so things are going good for them. Moving into their new home end of June.
Oh, great.
End of June,
Fantastic.
so.
Oh, what a great summer for them. So, well, our guest this morning is, you talk about a great friend and a
Yes.
supporter. They don't come any better than James Thompson.
No.
And
You've hit the nail
we
on
wanted
the
to
head
have
with
Brother
that.
James on this morning. So one of the things I want to let you know is that this will be the last Friday that we do every Friday gather at the river. You know, we started this really when we were going to be closed for 5 weeks, and we didn't know
Right.
if it was going to be longer than that or what. And you know, I just thought it'd give us another venue to where we can communicate with our church family, those that, you know, could not come to church and church was closed, and hear some things going on, and hopefully be encouraged and have a time to laugh and all of those things. But now we're kind of back.
Yeah.
And instead of doing a weekly program, after this one today, we're going to do one a month, and we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Now, we'd always encourage you to write us, and we can even be bribed.
Oh, absolutely.
You got that? Yeah, you can bribe us to have more than just one a month.
That's right.
And we will probably not resist that. But I think it'll work better because we're still doing our Bible studies for you. And I think one of these a month will be great. So we'll be looking to do that starting next month. But James today, I tell you what,
That'd
you
be
talk
great.
about a pillar of the church,
Yes.
is James Thompson, an encourager for us. Really none better than that.
No.
Man with tremendous wisdom and counsel and all of those things. And we got him mic'd up this morning. So James, I want you to come on up here. We're going to put you in the center seat. We're going to make you look like Santa Claus right here.
Yep.
All right?
Come on, buddy.
Don't want to exert myself because I'll start coughing.
Just take it easy.
I don't want you to fall getting up here
Yeah.
because we're going to make you play hurt.
Hey, I was just sitting back there, and this thought hit me way back in the early days. This little station in Lawrenceville broadcast anybody that wanted to buy the time, 15, 20 minutes, 30.
Yeah.
And these little preachers, they'd save up to get that time. And it had about 50,000 watts, you know. It might reach down to Centerville. And they'd come up and sit down and get the mic in front of them and said, "Hello, world."
Yeah.
That's the way I feel.
But now this is on the internet, so this is hello.
This
world.
is the world.
This
Anywhere
is-
you're at around the world, anyone can pull up
That's
this
right.
and say, there
That's
is
right.
James Thompson.
You know, I have a lot of family in Louisville, Kentucky, and they watch Gather at the River. And I was at a family reunion over Memorial Day weekend, and they were talking about Gather at the River, and I had no idea that they were watching that, but they were talking about the program that we had done with Vanessa Brown and that American Heritage Girl Ministry and different things, and so they obviously were watching Gather at the River. So James,
I've really enjoyed it. It's just been
you're all over,
a casual kind of thing that you can just get into, you know.
Right.
And,
that was the point.
you guys run it really smooth, just like you're professionals. you know.
Just like it was.
I want to say one
Keep
thing.
in mind they're pulling us off the air after
That's
today.
right.
I'd like to pay homage to a dear friend, Brother Carl Leach,
Carly.
passed
Yes.
away Saturday.
Did he?
I
Yes.
heard that, James.
And
didn't hear
he
it
was
till
here
Monday.
9 years, and we were real good friends. And main thing about it was he taught us the first real deep doctrinal Bible truths we'd ever heard. And I appreciate that. Always have.
Yeah.
He got us thrown out of an association for teaching. But anyway, that was good. We would have stayed in that and kept telling the truth for many years. Hadn't been for him, I guess. You mentioned in your Wednesday night Bible study that that verse where there's no vision, the people
Proverbs
perish.
29:18, yeah.
That was his best sermon, probably. He tied into the fact that, you know, we got to have a vision here if we're going to amount to anything.
Yeah.
We had some great days while he was here.
Yeah. You actually gave me a cassette tape
Right.
of one of his messages. It's when the
was
church was
it.
next door.
That was it.
For those that are visiting, we have a beautiful main auditorium here, but we have 4 different buildings on our campus, just kind of the slope of the property. Our original building, the footprint of it from 1871 is next door.
Yes.
And that's where the church was until they built the main auditorium here in 1971. But you gave me that
Yeah,
from next door.
That was the sermon.
It's a tremendous sermon, but didn't you tell me back then the Sunday school class was just classes in the main auditorium?
Yeah, wherever you could put one corner here, one corner. Try to
Yeah.
keep your voice in reasonable, keep from interrupting the others. At one time, we had over 400 in Sunday school.
Wow.
And that's the only building we had.
Wow.
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 That's amazing.
The fire department came by, they arrested all of us.
Well, firemen need Jesus too.
That's
We had a
right.
small
Okay,
bus
well, it's not
ministry. I
bad.
think we had 4 buses until we found out that wasn't the way to go.
Yeah. Now, how old were you when you first started coming here?
19.
19 years old. Wow.
And you're 89, you told me
Yeah.
Sunday. So you have
Next
been
month would be 70 years.
70
just thinking
years
about
you've
that.
been
Yeah.
part of
Now,
this
am I
church.
remembering
It's
this right?
incredible.
Because we found when we were doing some renovation around here, we got this journal, and it goes back a long time. But it used to list, and it does, but it lists the services, who got saved and baptized. Were you and Marilyn Moon and I don't know if Gene Landers all kind of like the same Sunday evening get saved together at the same time?
No, as a matter of fact, I got saved at the Disciples of Christ Church, called the Christian Church.
Okay,
in,
all right.
Oakland. It's the very center of Gwinnett County, at the corner of Cruise Road and Old Norcross Road.
Wow,
That's
okay.
where my family went until I was married, and then I adopted my wife's Savers Church,
Which was
Yellow
this
River.
one, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And anyway,
So you were 19 when you started coming here then?
yes,
Wow. Who was the pastor then?
Brother Sammy Bryant
Sammy Bryan.
was
Okay.
just leaving.
Huh.
He was retiring. I don't know whether he was forced to or not. I don't think so, because he was such a beloved person.
Yeah.
He ran a 1-mule farm.
Hmm.
Can you imagine? Everything you did was pulled by 1 mule.
Wow.
And somebody had a picture of him wiping his brow, sitting on the plow stalk. I would give a $100 bill if I had a copy of that. But he was such an humble man. Had no formal education, but he loved the Lord. And he preached some pretty good sermons considering that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's
That's great.
for those of us who know the size of the next door building
Yeah.
here. You guys, when you walked into this for your first service, must have thought you were like in the arena
Yeah.
compared to next door.
We were.
I mean, it's just as big as this place is.
As strange as it may seem, we had more attendance there than we've ever had here.
Wow.
Never once did we have this kind of attendance. We just kept thinking this building is going to make us grow. But
Yeah.
we found out it's more than just a building that brings us
Exactly.
growth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys have taught that over and over again. You got to have dedication and love of the Lord and be willing to go out there
Unity
and
of
work.
spirit.
Pardon?
You got to have unity of spirit.
Yes.
And we're blessed with those things
Oh, yeah.
at this time. And I think that's really and truly maybe one of the greatest things in our church is the love and the unity.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in Ephesians, it just over and over, Paul's telling the church at Ephesus, their unity,
Yep.
unity. And to me, it's one of the greatest
Oh,
things
yeah.
that and the hunger people seem to have for for truth.
For the word, yeah.
Give,
They
give
just
them
want to
the
hear.
word in there.
Yeah.
I'll
They
wind
want-
up the thing about Brother Carl unless y'all lead into something else, but we made a trip up to Cherokee, North Carolina. Him and his wife and me and Sarah. And I remember I have some pictures somewhere where we was out in the creek dabbling in rocks.
Yeah.
And so in some of the mention of his death in Facebook, and I answered it saying, and now when I pass on, we can not only play in the river, we can play in the river of life.
Amen.
Nothing.
Now, what did Five Forks look like when you started coming here? Was it still a dirt road out there?
Oh yeah, very much so.
A dirt road? In fact, I remember you and Ralph Landers telling me that Pleasant Hill was dirt road back then, and
I don't know what year that they really started paving these roads. They were just roads then. One at a time they did build them in. But
What about the bridge over Yellow River?
Yeah.
Right here on the edge of our property.
yes, that was a wooden bridge, and each plank you could see through the cracks, you know.
Yeah.
And Sarah and her family had to walk to school right here, right next door.
Right
To
next
the
door.
school next door.
yeah.
And she would not walk across it. Her brother had to carry her across it because of the cracks in the boards. She was 6 and 7 years old then, but then it transferred over to Bethesda School about that time.
Yeah.
And, I was at Oakland for 3 years, which is close to my church. And then same teacher, same room for 3 years. They just move over one row. She'd give us assignment, and then she'd go over here and give us assignment.
Wow. So how many grades were in that one room?
I went up to 7. Then they went to 9 eventually. My oldest brother and oldest sister had to leave there and go to Sewanee to finish and graduate.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know, my
Now,
mother.
where'd you graduate from?
Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Okay.
Now, some of our folks, they talk about going to what I think now is South Gwinnett,
Yeah.
but they call it Snellville High School.
That back then they
Is-
called us now.
Is that true? That area, the school that we now know as South Gwinnett, was Snellville High School?
Yeah, Snell was the original school. Then they brought other overflows into it.
Okay, kind of
Yeah,
consolidated.
same things did at Bethesda. Then Bethesda actually spilled over to Burkmar.
Burkmar.
Now, Bethesda now is just elementary school.
Right, right.
And
Well, you know, that's where Trellis, our former piano player member, she went to what's now South Gwinnett. In fact, she wrote the class song.
yeah,
Yeah.
For 'em,
And-
yeah.
I know Ann Britt, she
Oh,
talks about her days at South Gwinnett. Probably,
Jerry and her
Min-
graduated together, you know.
is that right?
Yeah, they did.
Wow. Now, I mean, you have, in your life, what you have seen is really, really remarkable.
It is that. It is that.
But you were, I mean, you were alive and kicking well during the Depression years, correct?
Yes. Matter of fact, I've been around since 1930.
Yeah, yeah.
The Depression really happened in 29. I mean,
Yeah.
But it carried
Stock market.
itself
It was
through for
going
a
through
long
30.
time.
and it carried further and longer at our house.
Yeah,
Because by the time it ended and people started working, my daddy was too sickly to get a job.
yeah.
He had to revert to driving a school bus, being a janitor at school, running the canning plant, places where you didn't have to have a heart attack, high blood pressure check, you know. He worked for Ford Motor Company a couple of years, and then the war happened. It turned the plant into a munitions factory. So he lost that job. When the war was over, he applied again for, you know, thought, I'm gonna get my job back. Well, his high blood pressure would not allow him to be hired. So he'd get it down, he'd go back. And he says, I reckon because I'm so anxious that it runs back up as soon as I get there. And time after time, he had to just give it up. Asthma, he had terrible asthma. but the man worked like it never happened. I admire the man more than anybody ever known.
James, you've talked to me some about farming and that post-depression
Yeah.
culture and what it was like for you, your family. Enlighten us a bit on that time.
Yeah, well, Dad bought this 100-acre farm on a credit, of course. I don't guess it cost him over a couple of thousand. But he bought it on the condition that the man that owned it would give him time to pass on, and then we'd take possession. He had cancer. Took about 6 months till he passed on, and we moved in. And it was just rocks and red dirt, you know, at the corner of Harrington Road and Old Norcross.
Okay.
Now, Harrington Road is an extension of Bethesda School Road.
That's
Yes.
cool, yeah.
So, to give you an idea where that is. Anyway, this is a financial thing you might be interested in. After nobody else wanted to run the farm, of course, there was no way. You starved to death. And Daddy was not able anymore, so he decided, it's fine, let's sell it. He sold a 100-acre farm and 2 good houses. They were weatherboard houses, but they were solid, and 2 barns, just been built since we'd been there, for $4,000.
Wow.
$4,000 for 100 acres.
And that
4
and that
buildings.
100 acres where it was located,
And,
no one knew what the
No,
future held
no,
for
no.
that.
People would say, well, you ought to got more than that for it. I said, no, not that day, that's a good price.
Yeah, you were happy back then.
If we'd have waited 10 years, somebody said, I'll give you 10 for it, we would have took it.
Right.
Nobody saw it. So the culmination to all this, our house sat right in the corner of those 2 roads, and about 1 acre. And a good friend of mine who's a real estate man, he's come up to me one day and said, James, I want to help your feelings. But I negotiated the terms on that acre lot. $365,000. Wow. 1 acre.
1 acre.
The
Wow.
rest of it went for apartments and stuff. No telling how many thousands of dollars.
No, I know.
But see, you can't look back and say, what if?
No, 'cause nobody knew that was
There
coming.
was not,
And at that
nobody.
day and time, that 4,000 felt good to you.
Anybody that said, well, here's where Daddy came in into my life. Although he's always in my life, but his reputation as a hard-working man, honest, and I was his son. And I worked for a company called Woodall Electric Service Company for 11 years in Atlanta. We repaired irons and toasters and percolators and waffle irons. Nobody repairs them, throw it away. But anyway, we represented 50-something different companies, big companies. And I was shop foreman when I left there. And this man walked up to me and says, James, I know you work for an electric company, and I want you to consider being the manager of a new startup electrical wholesale company. I said, you talking about like selling to electrical wholesale contractors? Yeah. I said, you talking about starting up in the middle of Gwinnett County and competing with Gray Bar Electric and electric sales and service, multi-million-dollar? Yeah. I said, who are we going to sell to? Ain't nobody doing anything here. It will. It's coming. That was the last year or 2 before it started coming. And sure enough, he put $10,000 in it, started the business. That was a multi-million-dollar thing. Now, I found out you don't get the order the first day. You got to come back around again and again. Let them know you're going to be here. So it took us a year or more to convince them, hey, we're going to be here for you, and we want your business.
Yeah.
And it wound up, he sold it for around $4 million.
Because Gray Bar and all your competitors are saying they're going to go out of business. Don't do business with those
Oh,
guys,
yeah, and
right?
these contractors that we finally sold to said it too.
Yeah.
They didn't believe we'd ever make it.
Again, where there's no vision, the people perish.
Yeah.
Somebody said, hey, this
Set
could
up-
use another
I
company.
sat up on a 4-foot ladder, dead of winter, and my feet up over a coal-fired stove to keep my feet from freezing, and to the fact that they cooked the soles and it just cracked open.
But James, I got to ask you this question.
Yeah.
What, I mean, I realize salvation, eternity, we understand that. But what has Yellow River meant to James Thompson?
Well, it's gone from the old country church that I already belonged to, that just did the basic stuff, you know. Didn't get into anything deep, salvation-wise. The word born again and saved wasn't even used in our church, but that thing happened to me as real as any church could have happened. Brother Paul was trying to get Felix converted, and our pastor was running a revival, and he preached on that. He got down to the part where he said that in the more convenient season I'll call on you. And then he says, we have no record where he ever was saved,
That's right.
ever called on him for salvation. And it just tore me up. I was 14. I wasn't a child. And the Holy Spirit just got a hold of me. Something awful. Of course, my mother and my dad had been witnesses to me, prepared me, but I'd been convicted before, but not like this. I really felt like that if I didn't accept Christ that day, that night, that I might not be called on that heavily again. I mean, this is real serious stuff.
Yeah.
And I might have a feeling for salvation, but I don't think I'd ever been called on that deeply again. That's the way I felt.
Yeah.
And that's what drew me. And I've thanked the Lord all these years for sending the Spirit and grabbing me.
Amen.
And he said, when was you saved? I believe I was saved the very second that my will says I accept this.
Amen.
That moving a lick, but when I took the first step, it was
Yep.
it was done automatically from there on, you know. That weren't one step's all it took.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I've never worried 1 minute about my salvation since then. That's been 1945. That's 75 years.
Wow.
James, I would be remiss if I didn't say to you, thank you for the encouragement that you've been to me. I came here as a 30-year-old preacher, more than just a little bit green. You have never treated me with anything but the utmost of respect, exceedingly complimentary to me. The impact that you have made on my two boys, I will never be able to
Yeah, I love those boys, and you
repay
too.
you for that.
Yep.
And we love you. You know, the day they took you hunting was probably one of the greatest days of their lives.
It was the greatest day. I hadn't been in a long time.
I know you had.
And they went to the trouble to come get me and deliver me there and having a special chair for me and all that.
Built you a blind.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And,
But I appreciate you.
I'll
I
never
love you.
forget it. Never forget it. It's been great. And
You
this
know
old
that-
boy, this old boy's been my friend a long time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the scripture says that it's a principle. And if you want to follow the Bible, you'll always be right. But one of the main principles in the scriptures, the younger people learn from the older people. I can't imagine why a church today would be making a conscious decision
Makes no sense.
to say, we don't want people like James Thompson in it
Wow.
because we just want whatever a younger And usually the guy running them out is a guy who's already lost his hair, so he shaves his head bald,
Yeah.
wears an untucked shirt, and tries to look young, but he wants all of those senior type people out. I tell you what, one of the great things about our church is our senior people
Yes.
who have a history of walking with the Lord for
Amen.
most of their life.
The example they are to us.
Yeah, and we heard that from some of our graduates. Brother James is one of many that is just a wonderful example.
Dad doesn't brag too much on me.
Well, no, I won't. If we start talking about your golf game, I guarantee you we won't be bragging about that.
And I understand. I didn't quit because I had to. I quit because I wanted to.
Yeah, that's right.
You preached a sermon on passing things on down. You should
Yeah.
record history for your offspring and all that. And I said, I wish Daddy and Mother had done that.
Yeah.
Well, if I wish they had done it, why don't I do it? So I sat down and first of all, I wrote it out and I tried to correct the errors. And I wrote this thing, Influence of My Father. Then I think the very next one I wrote, and I'll get into this real quick as I can and out of it, is I had met this World War II 101st Airborne guy and his wife out in Palm Springs, California. We walked into a museum of airplanes. We're standing there talking, me and T, about this is a C-47 like delivered our paratroopers behind enemy lines. It was just beautifully restored. Just as soon as we got a sentence out of our mouth, this lady walked up and says, would you like to meet someone that jumped from those planes at D-Day and also at Holland in the Netherlands called the Hell's Highway. Mm-hmm. And then also he trucked into Bastogne for the Battle of the Bulge. Yes, he sure would. This is my husband, Russ Snell. So it went on from there. You know the story. I've bothered y'all with that. But to get to the end of it now, the reward, this wife, who's a widow now, he died in 18 at 94 years old. And she walked into that museum and said, what are you doing for the 75th anniversary of D-Day? Oh, we hadn't planned anything. She got all over them. She said, what do you mean you're not doing anything? This would be the last real celebration of this greatest generation because of the attrition. It's inevitable. They can't come back in the 80th. They won't be here. And that got a hold of them, and they had the best celebration of any 4th of July they'd had in Palm Springs, and sponsored by that. And she spoke at that ceremony and autographed books for them and all that. But mainly, she had permission and her granddaughter to get on this plane that we met them under and fly over in the very seat that her husband sat in on D-Day.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I just wanted, some people get all the breaks, don't they? But she earned it, and the pilot announced, we have given you the right to come up to the cockpit and say hello to the crew. But first, we have a special guest today. We'll ask her to come up first and explain it. And this had a big hand.
That's great.
And she says the greatest thrill of her life to get to fly that plane in the very seat her husband did 75 years earlier. And also his greatest celebration day was D-Day. He said he preferred it over his own birthday because it was his first adventure into the real world of fighting.
Yeah.
Death or living, Anyway, that's enough about that.
Well, for those that may not know anything about the history of the church, it was back in 1991, January, the first Sunday, that Yellow River Baptist merged with Tabernacle Baptist, church that I had been privileged to help start. And the people that were here at Yellow River Baptist at the time, James Thompson and his wife and Ralph Landers and Jean Landers, were instrumental in allowing the Lord to speak to them, following that, and initiating a conversation at the time with myself and who would be our pastors, Jerry Klein and Jim Aston. And it was from that meeting that we merged that church, those churches, on that first Sunday in 1991. And it has been one of the most amazing things I've really witnessed in my church life since then.
There's been no comparison.
Oh, no.
I tell people we have not only the church, but we have the best pulpit of any church anywhere near our size. The pastor, the co-pastor, the song leader, the pianist, the whole thing, the pulpit. It's just outstanding.
You know, you're onto something there, though, because that means the first Sunday in January coming up, 7 months from now, it's 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
We got to do something.
I know. We'll have
We
to
got
do something.
You
gotta
got
hang-
me. You got my mind thinking.
James has got to hang around for that.
We got to do
I
something.
plan to.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah.
do something that day because that will be 30 years since the merger took place.
Yeah. Well, it's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths.
Amen.
This is an example of
Yes.
people saying, we're going to let the Lord direct our decision-making, our steps.
Absolutely.
And we'll follow him and let him open the doors and create the opportunities. And from that comes now this ministry,
Yes.
which will be 30 years in January, which has been absolutely amazing.
Talking about me being around for that, I've told people this till they got absolutely tired of hearing it, I guess. But I don't get sick. The Lord has blessed me with that immune system that's out of this world,
Yeah.
unintended.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, you didn't social distance yourself from all those animals in the field and everything else when you were growing up. You got a little bit of germs from everything.
Yeah, I ate a little dirt, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, sure.
The immune system I have is just, well, but on the other hand, I've got a specialist taking care of every major organ in my body.
That's true,
Because it's
yeah.
wearing out.
That's true, yeah,
It's wearing out.
yeah.
I can't even have time to go see my regular doctor for going to see specialists.
When will you be 90, James? When's your birthday?
December 11th, same day as the twins, except they're 5 years ahead of me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lucy and Lucille. And then, of course, you're December 16th.
Well, yeah. I knew we were
December,
close. I'm
we
the
got a lot
16th,
going on.
so we'll
So
be
you
close.
will be 90 years old the 11th of
I'll be
December,
90, yeah.
just
11th of
prior
December.
to that merger 30th anniversary.
Yeah. Well, James is just a dear friend,
Yes.
really is. And I appreciate you joining us today,
Thank you
pal.
very much. You've been in for time.
It's just wonderful having him here and
How's the time
his
on the
experience.
We're getting ready to close it out unless you've got
thought
something you
I thought
just,
so.
is there something
I
on
don't,
here that?
I can go on forever, so it don't matter.
Listen, we thank you. And we
Yeah.
love you.
Thank you. I think it's a dear privilege to be representing Yellow River on this program.
Well, thank you, sir.
And by the way, it's the first time I've ever had a mic on in my life.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you've done good with it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's,
Don't get used to it.
I hope I hope my voice is done better than
Oh, no, you did great. You
I
did
think
great.
I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah,
I really
I
do.
did great.
Because I mutter a lot.
You did great. Well, thanks for joining us this morning and watching this.
Enjoyed it,
and,
enjoyed it.
You can come here on Sunday and get to meet this celebrity in the
That's
flesh. James is always here Sunday morning. You cannot keep him away from the church, and
Amen.
we appreciate that.
Well, you have to blame my dad and mother and the good Lord for that because they all encouraged me to do that.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah.
Well,
So,
I'm glad.
My dad was always a deacon and usher and whatever it took,
That's it.
building fires.
That's great.
Well, you have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you Sunday morning here. Again, Sunday school, 10 o'clock. This Sunday, we're going to start back, so adult Sunday school class is here. We'll have a Sunday school class for children. That'll be in our education building next door, teenagers down in our gymnasium. And we'd love to have you with us. If not, you can join us on live streaming and we'll worship with you there. So thanks for joining us today at Gather at the River. We'll see you Sunday.